In a surprising and emotional exchange, rap icon Snoop Dogg found himself overwhelmed with emotion after receiving a personal message from Burkina Faso's President Ibrahim Traoré. The message, simple, powerful, and deeply respectful, left Snoop speechless and in tears during a candid moment that quickly went viral. Viewers across the world were touched by the unexpected connection between the two influential figures. This is the moment that silenced a room and moved millions. It was supposed to be just another relaxed live stream. Snoop Dogg sat back in his studio laughing with fans, sipping on his favorite drink and spinning some old-school tracks. Then his manager quietly handed him a phone. "Uncle Snoop, you need to see this." On the screen was a short video message from Burkina Faso's president, Ibrahim Traoré. No one in the room expected it, not even Snoop. The video began with Traoré sitting behind a simple wooden desk. No luxury, no show. His eyes were calm, his tone steady. "Brother Snoop," he began, "you don't know me, but I know the power of your voice. You've inspired millions across the world, including children in my country who believe in dreams because of you." The room grew silent. Snoop leaned forward, his usual smile fading into focused stillness. The background chatter stopped. The weight of the message filled the air. By the time the short clip ended, no one in that room moved. Snoop's eyes glistened. He whispered almost to himself, "Damn, this hit different." And the livestream viewers felt it too. The comment section of Snoop's livestream exploded. Thousands typed at once, "Rep it, this is powerful." "I'm crying, Uncle Snoop." But Snoop didn't rush. He just sat there staring at the screen, his hand covering his mouth. Finally, he leaned back and exhaled deeply. "Man, y'all don't even know. I've been in this game for decades, heard all kinds of things, but this ain't no regular message." He pressed play again as Trey's calm voice echoed a second time. Snoop's lips trembled. "In Burkina Faso, many young brothers and sisters listen to your music when they feel hopeless. Your songs remind them they are not forgotten." Snoop took off his glasses, wiping his eyes. The cameras captured a side of him the world rarely saw. Raw, vulnerable, human. The chat went wild. Uncle Snoop, crying, "I can't hold back my tears." Respect to President Traoré, it wasn't just a video anymore. It was a moment that connected to worlds. When the clip ended for the second time, Snoop finally spoke. "See, a lot of people think it's about fame, money, or hits. But this man, this president, he talking about purpose, about lifting people up, that's real." The room was so quiet, you could hear the hum of the speakers. Snoop's usually playful energy had shifted to something heavier, more sacred. One of his crew whispered, "You good, Snoop?" Snoop shook his head slowly, tears still glistening. "Nah, I ain't good. I'm moved." He turned back to the camera. "Y'all, let me tell you something. This right here ain't just a message to me. This a message to all of us to keep pushing, to keep giving hope." Within minutes, clips of Snoop's reaction spread across social media. Millions watched, shared, and commented. And somewhere across the ocean in Burkina Faso, President Traoré sat quietly, knowing his words had reached their mark. What no one knew yet was that this emotional exchange was only the beginning of a week the world would never forget. The next morning, Snoop woke up to millions of notifications. Every major outlet had picked up the story. Snoop Dogg moved to tears by African president's message. While scrolling through his phone, his manager knocked on the door. "Unc, you won't believe this. President Traoré wants to speak with you directly." Snoop froze, phone in hand. He'd received messages from presidents before, but this felt different. This wasn't politics. This was personal. A video call was arranged within hours. As the screen lit up, Snoop saw the young leader sitting in a modest office, wearing his military uniform. "Brother Snoop," Traoré greeted warmly. "Thank you for listening." Snoop nodded, his voice shaky. "Man, you don't know how much that meant to me." Traoré smiled gently. "It wasn't just for you. It was for every soul who feels forgotten. You carry a light, Snoop. I only wanted you to know that." For a moment, neither man spoke. Two worlds, hip-hop and African leadership, had just collided in the most unexpected way. After the call, Snoop sat alone in his backyard, replaying Trey's words in his head. They stirred something deep inside, memories he hadn't faced in years. He remembered being a young man in Long Beach, surrounded by struggle, unsure if he'd ever make it out alive. Back then, music was his only escape. "That's why it hit me so hard," he whispered to himself, "because I know what it's like to feel forgotten." Later that day, Snoop went live again. This time, his fans noticed the shift in his voice, gentler, almost trembling. "Y'all, I ain't going to lie. That message, it broke me down, but in a good way. It reminded me why I do this, why I rap, why I keep going." Thousands of comments poured in. "We feel you, Unc. This is the realest I've ever seen you." In respect to President Traoré, and for the first time in years, Snoop wasn't just an entertainer. He was a messenger of hope. Clips from Snoop's emotional livestream spread faster than wildfire. Within 48 hours, the video of him crying while listening to Traoré had reached nearly every corner of the internet. On Twitter, one user wrote, "This is why we love Snoop. He's human. He feels." On Instagram, a post read, "President Traoré just reminded the world what real leadership looks like." But the most powerful moment came when a fan from Burkina Faso uploaded a video of local kids singing along to Snoop's songs, holding handmade signs that read, "Thank you, Uncle Snoop." Snoop watched the clip late that night, his eyes filling. With tears again, he whispered, "Look at that, man. They're really listening." He immediately shared it with the caption, "To my young ones in Burkina Faso, you got my heart forever." Within hours, his post had millions of likes and comments. What no one knew was that President Traoré had one more surprise in store for Snoop. A surprise that would take this story to a level no one could have imagined. That night, Snoop couldn't sleep. He walked around his home, the quiet broken only by the ticking of a clock. The video of the Burkinabe children singing his songs replayed in his mind. He sat down, staring at the city lights outside his window. "How a man I never met touched me like this," he whispered. Pulling out a notebook, Snoop began jotting down words. Not rap lyrics this time, but feelings. He wrote about struggle, hope, and the power of unity. At 3 a.m., he posted a short message online. "President Traoré reminded me tonight that no matter how high we climb, we never forget the streets we came from. Much love to Burkina Faso." The post went viral instantly. Comments poured in from Africa, America, Europe, everywhere. In Burkina Faso, President Traoré received word of Snoop's message. He smiled, whispering, "This is bigger than us. This is about the people." But neither man knew that destiny had planned one more emotional twist before the week was over. The following day, Snoop's team received a sealed envelope delivered through diplomatic channels. Inside was a handwritten letter from President Traoré. Snoop opened it carefully, his hands trembling slightly. The words inside made his eyes well up again. "Brother Snoop, you don't know how much hope you've given to the youth in Burkina Faso. Many of them have lost parents, homes, and dreams because of hardship. But when they hear your music, they feel alive again. You've given them a reason to believe in tomorrow. I wanted you to know you are not just an artist, you are family to us." Snoop pressed the paper to his chest, whispering, "Family." On his next live stream, he read the letter aloud. His voice cracked halfway through, and by the time he finished, tears rolled down his cheeks. The chat exploded with messages. "I'm crying with you, Snoop. This is history. Much respect to President Traoré." And just like that, millions of strangers felt like one big family. The impact was immediate. Fans started sharing videos of themselves crying while watching Snoop read the letter. Hashtags like Nupa and Traoré and Real Leadership trended worldwide. That evening, Snoop went live again, holding the letter in his hand. "Y'all, this ain't just about me. This is about all of us. President Traoré showed me something we don't see enough these days. Real love, real respect." He paused, fighting back tears. "So, here's my promise. I'm going to do something for those kids in Burkina Faso. I don't know what yet, but I won't just let this moment pass." The chat went silent for a moment, then flooded with comments of support. "Do it, Unc. We'll help you. History in the making." Somewhere across the ocean, President Traoré heard the news. He whispered softly, "He understands." Neither man knew how big this was about to become. Just 2 days after reading President Traoré's letter to the world, Snoop received a private call he wasn't expecting. It was from the Burkinabe embassy. Mr. Dogg, the official said, his voice warm and respectful. He had spoken to world leaders before, but this felt different. This wasn't politics. This was heart. Then there he was, President Ibrahim Traoré, dressed simply in a beige shirt. I wanted to tell you myself, thank you. Two children who thought the world forgot them. Snoop leaned forward, wiping a tear from his eye. Man, you gave me hope to homie. The silence that followed wasn't empty. It was full of respect. The conversation flowed naturally, as if they had known each other for years. Snoop told Traoré about his childhood in Long Beach, about seeing friends lost to poverty and violence. Traoré listened intently. Then he shared stories of Burkina Bay children who walked miles barefoot to get to school, some holding books donated by strangers. They smile even when their stomachs are empty, Trey said softly. They laugh even when they have nothing, but they believe in tomorrow. Snoop took a deep breath. That's the same spirit I grew up with. We ain't had much, but we had faith. Trey leaned closer to the screen. That is why they love your music. It tells them they're not alone. At that moment, Snoop turned away from the camera, his face wet with tears. He whispered, "You just made me feel like a kid again." Millions weren't watching yet, but soon the world would know about this call. And when they did, the reaction would shake the internet. What Snoop didn't know was that one of his team members had recorded part of the call with Traoré's permission. That evening, the short clip was released online. It showed Snoop, usually the cool, unshakable icon, covering his face as he cried, while Traoré's voice said, "They believe in tomorrow." The internet erupted on Twitter. "I've never seen Snoop cry like this." Respect to President Trump on Instagram. "This gave me chills. Real men show emotion." On TikTok, fans stitched videos of themselves in tears watching the clip. Snoop called Trop the next morning. "Bro, the world saw me crying." He laughed nervously. For the first time in years, Snoop felt not just like a rapper, but like a bridge between two worlds, and the week was far from over. Just when the world thought the emotional clip had reached its peak, Snoop Dogg surprised everyone. He appeared on a Los Angeles radio station, and halfway through the interview, the host asked about President Traoré's message. "Look, man, when that brother spoke about those kids in Burkina Faso, it hit. Me? I saw myself hungry, dreaming, not knowing if tomorrow was going to be better. And he said, 'They still believe in tomorrow.' That broke me." The host was silent, sensing the weight of the moment. Then Snoop added, "So, I'm making a promise, right here, right now. I'm going to Burkina Faso this week. I need to meet that man, and I need to meet those kids. I want to look them in the eyes." The studio went dead quiet. Snoop's going to Burkina Faso. This is history. Respect. This is bigger than music. The countdown to his visit had begun. 2 days later, Snoop Dogg boarded a private plane bound for Ouagadougou, the capital of Burkina Faso. Cameras followed, but for once, the rapper didn't care about the spotlight. Inside the plane, he sat quietly staring at a picture a fan had sent him, a barefoot Burkinade child holding a handmade sign that read, "We love you, Uncle Snoop." His chest tightened. He whispered, "I ain't ready for this, but I got to do it." When the plane landed, the airport was filled with thousands of cheering Burkina Bay youth waving flags and handmade posters. Snoop stepped out, wearing simple clothes, no chains, no sunglasses, just a man humbled by the moment. President Ibrahim Traoré was waiting at the bottom of the steps. "Welcome to Burkina Faso, brother." Snoop shook it, his lips trembling. "Thank you for having me, Mr. President. I came to learn." The crowd roared, but Snoop's heart was heavy with anticipation of what he was about to see. The next morning, President Traoré took Snoop to a small rural village outside Ouagadougou. There were no cameras, no press, just the people. Children ran barefoot to greet them, their laughter echoing through the dusty air. Snoop bent down, hugging them one by one. A little girl handed him a small handmade bracelet of colorful beads. "For you, Uncle Snoop," she said softly in French, her eyes shining. Snoop put it on immediately, his hands trembling. "Thank you, baby girl." As they toured the village, Snoop saw families living in huts, mothers cooking over open fires, and children studying under a tree because there was no classroom. His tough exterior crumbled. Tears streamed down his face as he whispered, This is real. This is real life. Traoré placed a hand on his shoulder. Now you see why we fight every day. Snoop nodded, unable to speak. In that moment, he understood that his visit wasn't about celebrity. It was about humanity, and the world was about to witness the most powerful part of his journey yet, and quiet hum of the African night. Snoop finally broke the silence. You know, I've stood on the biggest stages, seen the biggest crowds, but this right here, this is the most powerful thing I've ever felt. Traoré looked at him calmly, because this is truth, brother, but the love of the people, especially children, is priceless. Snoop wiped his eyes. Man, you speak from the soul. You remind me that being a leader isn't about what you wear, it's about what you give. Traoré smiled softly. Is service, and we serve so that tomorrow is better than today. Unknowingly, someone had recorded a small part of their conversation. When it leaked online that night, it became the most shared video clip on social media. The caption read, "Two giants, one truth, humanity first." The following day, Snoop Dogg made an announcement that shook both America and Africa. Standing beside President Traoré in front of the village children, he declared, "I'm pledging to build a school right here so these babies don't have to learn under a tree anymore." The children erupted in cheers, some running to hug him. Mothers covered their faces with tears of joy. Snoop bent down to one little boy and whispered, "You're going to be the next president. Little man, don't stop dreaming." Traoré moved to tears himself, embraced Snoop tightly. "Brother, you've given these children hope that will outlive us both." News of the pledge spread like wildfire. Across the globe, people applauded not just the generosity. That night, hashtags like Our Hope for Burkina and Snoop Traoré trended worldwide. On the final day of his visit, Snoop Dogg stood before the villagers one last time. He struggled to hold back tears as the children sang him a farewell song in their native tongue. Traoré placed the handmade bracelet, now worn and dusty, back in Snoop's hand. "This is more than jewelry. It's a reminder. Never forget us." Snoop shook his head, tears streaming. "I'll never forget. Y'all changed me." Millions wept as they watched the tough rapper break down openly, holding the hands of barefoot children. Back in America, Snoop went live on Instagram. His voice cracked as he said, "If you all ever doubted real leadership, look at President Traoré. That man, he's the truth." The video broke records for live viewers. And so in just 1 week, the world had witnessed not just a viral moment, but a lesson in humility, love, and the kind of leadership the world craves. Dear viewers, if this story moved you to tears, don't just keep it to yourself. Hit like to show your support. And most importantly, drop a comment below. What part of this story touched your heart the most? Your words matter. Let's spread hope together.